in Sydney was ready. The support services are in place and there is demand. But the same can't necessarily be said for every part of Australia. So the politicians today weren't able to give us exact dates on other parts of the country, other than to say that from July next year the rollouts will begin.
Zoe Ford reporting there from Penrith in Sydney's west. New research by the Lung Foundation shows fewer than 1 in 7 adults are at risk of pneumonia and consider themselves to be vulnerable, and just 1 in 5 are being vaccinated against the potentially lethal lung infection. Here is the latest from Lung Foundation Australia.
Pneumonia really is one of the most common causes of serious infectious disease and death. More than 1.5 million children around the world die of pneumococcal pneumonia alone every year, and the elderly are especially at risk. The older you get, the more likely you are to get it and to die from it.
So are we talking mainly here about the elderly and perhaps the sick or frail?
We are. In Australia, everyone aged 65 and above is offered a free pneumococcal pneumonia vaccine, and if they've got an additional risk factor apart from their age, like a chronic lung, heart, liver, kidney or diabetes, then they're offered a second dose of the vaccine 5 years later. If you're under 65, you need to have a chronic medical condition, which I've already mentioned, to be offered a free vaccine.
What about smokers? Where do they fit into the mix?
Well, they're definitely in the risk group and they need to seek vaccination. My father was a chronic smoker. He died of pneumonia in his early 70s. If he'd been immunised against pneumococcal pneumonia and, for example, influenza, which we have every year, he could have had more years of happy retirement.
So are you saying then that people are dying in Australia unnecessarily when there are vaccines available?
Oh, absolutely. In people over 65, although it's free and available from your GP, less than half of people are getting it. In people under 65, even less of the at-risk group are getting it. So people need to talk to their GP, book an appointment and get the vaccine.
We know with the flu vaccine, for instance, that there is a window where it's most appropriate to be vaccinated. Is it the same when it comes to pneumonia? Is there a particular time of year when you should be looking at getting the jab?
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them peak at this time of year in the winter. So we've got that window of opportunity right now to get people vaccinated against influenza and pneumococcal, and why not get the two at the same time, one in each arm?
So is there a point where it becomes too late? Are there symptoms perhaps that people should be looking out for?
It's not too late any time of the year, but the symptoms that you should look out for, and to answer your question directly, are a high fever and an increased respiratory rate and coughing up gunk. And those things should alert you to go and see your GP quickly.
Terrific, and people should always obviously seek medical advice there. Associate Professor Robert Boy, thanks so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
It's never been harder to keep children safe online. Instant messaging and social networking applications may be a great way for kids to bond with their friends, but they also give child sex offenders a way in. The ABC